Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a Rune and Tarot Divination for the 29th day of November, 2021. Well, it's a Monday. We're almost through with the month, and I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. If you didn't watch the video on Friday, also this coming Thursday, this may start a little bit later in the day. There's a booster clinic that's open uptown here, and it's 2 hours long. We're going to go ahead and try to get our booster shot on Thursday. If not, there's one at the airport on Friday. That's a pop-up clinic, so hopefully we'll be able to get it done Thursday, though. So might be a little late in starting this. Well, I will be a little late in starting this, unless I do it Wednesday night or something. Maybe I can do that, but we'll just see how it goes. But in any event, I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving, and we're still eating turkey, which I don't know. I may go ahead and freeze what's left and kind of give us a break from it. We've been having it like a couple of times a day, so you can really nuke yourself out of turkey when you do that. But anyway, I have not made turkey soup yet, so that's the one thing I haven't done. Today's numerology from the Esoteric Influences over on the blog, if you want to check that out, that's over there at imsteppingaside.com. It's the most recent post, I think. But anyway, just if it's not, just scroll down a little bit, you'll see it. I probably should sticky it or something, maybe. I don't know. Anyway. But in any event, from the reading there, Dagaz and Karser are the runes for today. Dagaz is an Elder Futhark rune. It's one of the last ones. It's a new day, one period ending and another beginning, basically. It's kind of interesting. It looks like a bow tie, and you can well, here it is. Here, I've still got the runes out, and it's like we sit in the center of it, as one period ends and another begins. Karser's a little different. Karser is, let me see if I can find it in here. It'd be interesting if I throw the runes today and the geomancy runes and it ends up being Karser and it aligns, but it kind of looks like a little bird cage, doesn't it? Basically, it means self-imprisonment. So what are you staying stuck in? Are you staying stuck in perceptions? Let's see. And Karser, it's interesting, it appears 3 times this week. So that's going to be an issue. I think that's going to be ongoing. So I did want to mention it. The sun's in Sagittarius and the moon's in Leo until it transitions into Virgo this evening at 6:12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So again, with the master number 11 energy today, the numerology, you're talking awakening, enlightenment, spirituality. But it invokes clarity, I think, regarding a situation that could require some additional sensitivity or inner awareness, having to do with letting go of outmoded perceptions that have been holding you back. Today's geomancy rune, Karser, again, it suggests an ongoing issue that could either find some resolution this week, or you may at least make some progress on it. Start to become aware of it, of things that are holding you back, the way you think about stuff. You could, relationships with others today could benefit from some more balanced expectations. If there's any drama experience, it could be that you or a partner may be feeling unsupported and a compassionate attitude or response is needed. Or it could be that you're the one who needs the support today. But anyway, a more balanced mindset, again, can provide necessary clarity. Don't overlook something that seems insignificant today. Because if you do, it could result in whatever you're working on could result in some failure or lack of progress. Especially, again, if it's about an underlying resistance to change. Again, the whole Karser effect on the day. And if you're in a supervisory role with others, embrace the experience each one brings to the situation. We have Gebo for today's rune, Elder Futhark rune for the divination itself. Today, let me move my keyboard out of the way here so I've got some room in front of me. Let's go ahead and see. Gebo is really Kenaz in all directions expressed outwards, so it's expressing the light of spirit, or soul level clarity, higher awareness in all directions to other people, in your interactions with others. So that sort of aligns a little bit with today's reading from the esoteric influences for the week. But let's see what we have here. Oh, well, we have the complement of Carcer. We have conjunctio. Let's see if I can find it in the bowl. My eyes aren't focusing real well yet. Interesting thing about there's 16 geomancy runes, but actually there's only 8 because you have there. Oh, that's not the right one. Because you have the complements of one another. And so conjunctio is the opposite, basically, or complement of Carcer. If I can find the doggone thing. There it is. But here is self-imprisonment. And here is joining with others. So this would be isolation in that regard. And then this is conjunctio is joining. And so joining or unity with others. So there may be a way out, I guess, of what I drew for the week, for Monday, in terms of making other people feel, well, I'm not shuffling very well. Good thing I did before I started. Mondays. Especially if there's drama and it's about either someone else not feeling supported or you not feeling supported, maybe a little drama breaks out. The bottom line is if you observe the whole situation in clarity, with clarity, and understand that a more unified experience, a more compassionate, empathetic, concerned about the needs of others, in other words, is expressed, then basically you're invoking the Master 11 energy, even with Gebo here today, bringing clarity to the situation, and balanced energy exchange. And of course, balanced energy exchange aligns perfectly with conjunctio. So, it again, remember that we are not separate from others, and whatever perceptions we have that are creating that feeling of the us versus them experience that is so prevalent right now in the world and in our country, in our relationships with others, we're not going to find our way out of it apart. We're going to find our way out of that together, and dropping the vitriol that's been happening. It's petty. It looks I don't know. It looks small. It's small-minded people that are doing this, and it's not right. And I think that whether you're looking at Carcer from the esoteric influences today, or you're looking at the answer to that, which is conjunctio, I think it's saying that, separation doesn't help us, and doing things that are harmful to others doesn't help this. So let's take a look at the cards, though, and see if what they're going to have to say about this. Well, they do. But you know what? I think I'm going to put that at the end. I'm going to put the Ace of Swords at the end. And I'm going to talk about the effect of Carcer because it's going to align with the Eight of Swords. Here we see a woman blindfolded. She's also bound. She's turned her back to her home, to the castle on the hill. She's turned her back to it. She's standing in wet, soppy sand that matches the color of her dress there. You see swords all the way around her, well, behind her, and then there's one here. But basically, what the Eight of Swords, it has when you talk about the numerology of 8 in the major arcana, excuse me, the eighth major card is strength, and so it's willing to tame the wild within. It's willing to balance spirit with ego, or transmute ego into spirit. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. But here it's the strength to turn your back to the noise that's happening of your own perceptions and maybe those of others that are trying to influence you. But you feel bound by them, and you have to, and that's why for the blindfold and the binding here, you're feeling bound by either your own perceptions or those of others. Swords is the air element, so you're talking about the mental aspects of life, balance, reason, thought processes, whether or not they're in balance, whether or not they're, again, being stuck in perception, which is what this card could be. But you have the strength to turn your awareness inward to discover the reason for all of that, and hopefully have the strength to let that go. In fact, that might have been the second card. We could probably put the Five of Pentacles first. Here we have ignoring or being left out. The issue with this is likely representing a church here, because you see the stained glass behind the pentacles that the pentacles are up against. The pentacles is the earth element, and so you're talking about material possessions, material security, foundation. It's a real four energy, four numerology type of feeling, where that's about structure. But here, with the five, there's a change in circumstances where you are essentially left out in the cold. This person is on crutches. Looks like he's missing a shoe. He's got one on there. This woman looks like she's in her bare feet, and she's leaning forward against the snow. There's a little bit of snow falling, well, a lot of snow falling, really, and she's basically huddled against the wind as the two of them are walking past a church. Now, either she can't see that there's help offered, or there is no help offered. And perhaps the doors to that you feel are closed to you. So that's another form of self-imprisonment, or other external types of forces that are imprisoning you in the circumstances that you're in. But I think that since this is realistically more perception based, then we're going to look at this one the same way. And that the greater empathy, the greater understanding, the greater compassion that maybe you need right now, maybe needs to come from your own self. You know, it's hard to be in resistance to other people unless there's a real reason for it. But if the reason is being manufactured by external forces, then it makes it a little harder to, if you feel swallowed up by that, you know, and you're so devoted to that you can't see the forest for the trees. You can't see the manipulation that's involved. That's another aspect of the Suit of Swords, or the air element, is manipulation. How, you know, you look at the Three of Swords, that's really easy to see. You see three swords piercing a heart with two behind, so you've got two betraying the other, right? And so, but with this, when you get up to the Eight, especially after you feel like no one is there for you, and your circumstances have changed, you're feeling lost. Well, maybe it's that you're starting to realize that if you're part of this attitude that seems to be prevalent right now, where everyone else is the enemy, even people who want to get vaccinated are the enemy, it's like, how did that happen? You know, and to me, in what I've been feeling all along, is that this is externally caused, and whatever issues you have in your own life, something resonated with that, and so it's like, oh, that's what's going on, those are your answers. Well, no, they're not. Actually, they're not. It's just a manipulation, and it's one that is profoundly affecting a lot of people. And so I think that the way out of that is not in separation with the Carcer rune found today in the esoteric influence and magical influences for the day, from that post that I did. I think it's through unity consciousness. I think it's understanding that we are not enemies of one another. We are, in fact, one family. We are one in the Creator, if you will. And there's no reason. The truth of the matter is that we are joined in unity consciousness. Our souls are. So whatever the ego does while we're in form, while we're in the bodies, that's a choice. That's an illusion. And it's a departure from what our true reality is. And so we shouldn't allow people to interject their own agendas into our perceptions and try to manipulate us into believing something that is nonsense. Okay? It's not that we're never going to have a disagreement with someone. It's not that we're not going to have different perspectives on things. That's fine. That's part of the growth process, the soul's growth process, of what we take back to the Akashic record, what we take back to the unity consciousness. It's just information. It's to understand the nature of something, not to hang on to it so hard that we remain in separation and disunity with one another. In the body, when that happens, individually, we get sick. Well, that's what we have now. And so the way back to that is in Gebo, and in the balanced energy exchange with others based on the light of spirit, based on higher awareness. And then it becomes simple and easy to join with one another in individual differences, respecting those boundaries, and learning from one another's perspective instead of being at odds with one another's perspective. It could be that what you need to learn is that what you're thinking is not as useful maybe as another way of seeing it. So it's something that I think that has been probably coming to a head maybe. And this week, especially with Karser appearing 3 times, it's really telling us, hey, look inward and take a look at what you're thinking, what your thoughts are that are keeping you separate and alone and isolated from other people, that are causing anger and grief and animosity that began with you, that didn't begin with the people that you're focusing it on. It began with you, or listening to someone who's telling you, this is how it is, this is what you need to think. Because that, I think, is what's really at the heart of this. It's being vulnerable, or choosing to remain vulnerable to the propaganda and agenda of someone else, the outright lies of someone else that's leading you in a direction because maybe they say some things that sort of resonate in you, and so it piques your interest, and so you start listening, and pretty soon you're caught up in it. And I have to tell you, that is by design. That is in other words, there are external forces right now that are promoting stuff like this. And it's very hard for some people feeling vulnerable as they do, because this is vulnerability. They feel like nobody's paying attention to them. But it's not true. And that feeling gets magnified into a level of grievance that makes a level of balanced energy exchange nearly impossible, except with the group itself that is feeling that way. Because that's what the goal was to build a group of people together that would then go out and do the bidding of the people that are trying to influence you. That's, we see that every single day, whether you're talking about advertisements on television for one thing or another, everything or you're on social media, you go and you buy something, and then all of a sudden, if you're on Facebook, you see all these ads for that same thing coming up. It's an influence thing. And you have to be very, very careful to not be drawn into that. And I think a lot of people have been. So what's needed then is a change in perspective, the Ace of Swords. After you realize what's going on and you understand that, and you turn your back to that influence, you understand then with the Ace of Swords, again, the air element, again, our mental faculties, our reason, our justice, fairness, balance, all of that is involved in the air element. But here you have the Ace of Swords where you see a hand reaching out from the clouds, from the unknown, and you see a sword fully upright. And when you see a crown up above and with garlands, that's talking spirit, all right? That's higher awareness. So you're drawing your inspiration, you're drawing your awareness, your inner awareness from the higher self, and not from the ego's perception that or influence that leaves you stuck in your own perceptions. You see, this is time to start thinking about this a little more realistically, and to understand that if it is something that is drawing you away from the concept of oneness in the Creator, then you have a problem, all right? It's ego that's causing it. And so you need to take another look away from the noise. Turn it off, don't look at it, and simply sit with your own feelings and in meditation and start thinking about this. You know, are you fine with your family torn apart? Are you fine with friendships being strained? Are you fine with that? You know, is that really the life you want to have? And so I think that I'm emphasizing this so much because with today's 11 master energy, the energy is there to transform your perceptions, transform your heart, transform how you see things and how you see other people into something that is more lofty and spirit-based, instead of, you know, seeing everyone else as the enemy. Because everyone else is just standing there going, what? We're not the enemy. What are you talking about? You know, just because I want to go get a vaccine, please. This is the kind of stuff that's happening. And when you have a chance to step back away from the noise of all of it, you know, and all the reinforcement of that, then you maybe loosen some of your perceptions on it. And you're going, well, you know, and maybe it's baby steps, and you just say, well, you know, if they want to wear a mask, they're going to wear a mask. There's a pandemic coming on. There's a new variant coming in that we're not sure yet about. So if preliminary information is right, maybe we do need to be concerned about it. And so you want to get your booster, and if you haven't been vaccinated at all, maybe you need to think about doing that. But again, if you're listening to people that are telling you not to do that, when this is how society has stayed healthy all these years, we've eradicated certain childhood diseases. My husband and I were talking about that. We both had mumps. We both had measles. We both had chickenpox. You don't see that now, you know, because the kids get vaccinated when they're babies, and they don't get that now. And I can tell you, it wasn't fun, you know, to have those childhood illnesses, to have your face all swollen up from the mumps, and to have the measles and have the chickenpox. It was awful, you know, it was awful. So it's nice that we don't have that. What is it? Smallpox, eradicated by vaccines. So again, this is the normal thing to do for science to do, is to come up with this, right? And I'm just using this as an example because it's one that everybody's aware of. But again, if you're feeling like, you know, hey, I'm feeling isolated, and I'm choosing to be isolated from other people, maybe that's not the right way. Maybe help is really there. You know, maybe your support system, in other words, is really there. And the love you used to share with people is still there. It just takes you to go inward and to ignore the noise around you, and to think about what's going on with your own mindset on things, and to start reevaluating whether or not, and I'm not saying that you necessarily have to change your views, you just have to drop the resistance to other people having different views. If we could just start there, that might be a way out of the carcer experience of feeling self-imprisoned and isolated, because there's no reason for it. You know, that's the other part that makes no sense. If you want to think differently, okay, from someone else, that's fine. But you can't impose that on someone else. And you can't do it in a way where you're screaming at them or physically assaulting them or whatever, or trying to scare them or whatever. That stuff is ridiculous, and it needs to stop. And I think it's reflective of the inability to understand the truth of who we are together. And again, we awaken then to a new truth. This definitely aligns with the 11 numerology here today, of invoking a higher awareness after understanding that, hey, maybe I've been too rigid in my feelings and in my beliefs, and I'm not allowing for other people to have the integrity and sovereignty of their own beliefs. So anyhow, that's an interesting way to start the week. It sort of all dovetails together, which is kind of cool. So we'll go ahead and check out the esoteric influence for the week and see if there's anything else there. Just keep things in mind. as you go throughout the week, and see how that resonates for you. And then come back on Thursday and we'll get together again. And again, I'll either try to film this Thursday night. I'm just not sure if or Wednesday night rather, or maybe I'll just do it a little bit later when we get back, but we're going to try and go get our booster. It's only a 2-hour window that they're going to be there though. And I don't know if we're going to be able to. I don't know if there'll be a long line. I mean, I don't know. I'll probably, give the place a call today and see if they have any awareness on that. If we need to get there an hour early and line up kind of thing, we'll do that, but, this may get posted a little bit later on Thursday. So anyway, but we'll see how it goes. I did do it Wednesday night and then do like a scheduled post for it for Thursday morning. So it's up around the same time. So anyhow, thanks for watching. Everywhere I am, there's links below the video if you want to check those out. The web address to the blog is there. So if you forget, it's at imsteppingaside.com. You can go there and find it there. And have a good day. Have a good beginning of the week, and we'll talk again Thursday. So be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.